Bhagavatam has a chapter. Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. So all your questions will be answered if you listen to this Srimad Bhagavatam. Really, I'm not kidding. Bhagavatam has questions asked by Brahmaji, who is the creator of the universe. The creator of the universe also doesn't understand certain things. He has questions, and Krishna answers them. Bhagavatam has questions asked by Narad Muni. Narad Muni, the transcendental sage, who is giving wisdom to everyone. Because the comic directors and script writers are like that. So, so Narad Muni has questions to ask, and they are answered in Bhagavatam. So you see, Bhagavatam can answer all our questions. So this session today will be dedicated to the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, because before we get entrance into this Bhagavatam, let's understand what this book is so famous and talked about for. So when you have a good advertisement, it creates a appeal for intrigue, for actually using the product, right? So we began last time by, I'll do a quick recap, by reciting these prayers on Bhagavatam. Can someone tell who wrote these prayers? Which we Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami has written 5 beautiful verses glorifying this book, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, 18,000 shlokas. And the Bhagavatam has 10 topics. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanam utaya mantara eshanukata nirodha muktirashraya. It talks of from the creation of the cosmos to maintenance of the cosmos, how the different species are created, what is the functions and characteristics of different types of species, what is the psychology of humans, right? Sarga, which is creation, visarga is functionality. So sarga, visarga are discussed. Sthanam, that how is this material world situated? What is the geography of the world? We just know of the earth, right? On the plane we are on, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether. But beyond that, there are the heavenly abodes. Then there is Brahmaloka, and then down there are the hellish planets. So Bhagavatam gives all the cosmology, all the geography. Poshanam, that how the Supreme Lord, he doesn't just create. Just like a father is not known just for the sake of making the house, making the building, and telling you now you know stay here. घर चलाते हैं definitely. He takes care of the expenditures, but more than that, he is very concerned about your well-being. If anything you are troubled about, he will intervene, right? He will empathize. So similarly, God does poshan, means nourishment of all of us, the children of God. So Bhagavatam talks about how God nourishes each and every one of us, right? Utaya, that now God has provided everything to us in this creation, but then there still in a house a father provides everything, but then there are spoiled children, and then there are obedient children. Different types of desires, utaya. In the same house where everything is being provided, one child goes bad, another child is obedient. So, what is it that makes living entities rebellious and some living entities, docile and subservient to God? So, Utaya, Manvantara, that what is how the different Manus they rule, they reign the kingdoms, and so on and so forth. Uh, Nirodha, which talks about annihilation, that how this material creation is annihilated, because creation was described, maintenance was described, destruction, how does that happen? And mukti, mukti means how can the soul who is trapped in this material cosmos, who is being provided for, in terms of all the bodily necessities, who is being nourished by God and cared for. But this material world is dukkhalema shashvatam. It's temporary and it's full of miseries. So how can we have an exit plan from here, mukti? And ashraya. After achieving mukti, where do we go? We know that all spiritualists will agree that this material world is not our home. This is not the place to be. There's something wrong. It doesn't take uh, uh, a lot of intelligence to figure that out. Anyone, even a plain man on the street, will say that looks like something is amiss here. Why do people die? Why is there disease? Why is there heartbreaks, miseries, all of these things? So, which means that we don't belong here, we belong somewhere else. So, after mukti, where do we go? What is it that will fully satisfy us in this world with the best of resources, facilities at our beck and call? We find people are not satisfied. तो ऐसा क्या हो जाएगा liberated state में that we'll be fully satisfied for eternity? वहां जाके वो अगर फिर से confusion नहीं आना चाहिए ना कि अरे यार मजा नहीं आ रहा है, let me try out something. So we have tried this out, and we have suffered. So there must be something there that we will never feel like trying out anything. We'll be fully satisfied and happy. So that is ashray. Ashray means shelter. We find our eternal love and shelter there in the spiritual world, eternal loving relationships with God, with Krishna. So this is the ambit of Bhagavatam, from this world to that world. It takes us. So glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sanatana Goswami has composed 5 verses. सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्पद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवतम प्रभु कलिध्वांतोदिता श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्षि अक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते मदैक बंधु मत्संगी मद्गुरो मद्महाधना मद्निस्तारक मद्भाग्य मदानंद नमोस्तुते असाधु साधुता दायन अति नीचो चतक्करा हा नामुंच कदाचिन्मां प्रेम न हृत कंठयो स्फुरा. Okay, so we described first 3 verses. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusham. Yes, here come the illustrious brothers, Gopinath, Tanay, Gopinath, Devamrit, and our. Yeah, you can spread out a bit. No, we'll have a private chat. Means there will be time for questions, but let me complete the flow and then we'll come to it. Neeraj, happy to see you. So we are having a small group where we are discussing Bhagavatam, and we'll be continuing the glories of Bhagavatam. So today we will be taking up the verse Madek Bandhu Mad Sangi Mad Guru Mad Mahadhana Mad Nistarak Mad Bhagya Mad Ananda Namostade. A very beautiful verse. In this verse, Sanatana Goswami, who is a great saint 500 years ago in Vrindavan, who was actually the prime minister of Nawab Hussain Shah. How many of you have heard of Nawab Hussain Shah in Indian history? The king of Bengal, right? Like the entire East Bengal, West Bengal was governed by this Nawab Hussain Shah, and Sanatana Goswami was his prime minister. And Sanatana Goswami renounced everything to become a saint in Vrindavan. And there he is composing this verse, Madek Bandhu. Bandhu matlab friend. So we all have friends, right? We have many friends. And the definition of friend and enemy is so fluid. बचपन में तेरे से कट्टी हो गया अभी, अरे लंगोटिया यार थे, कट्टी, और फिर वापस से फ्रेंड. सो दुश्मन दोस्त, दुश्मन दोस्त. सो व्हाट इज दिस फ्रेंड एनिमी एंड देन इट्स it really is not very fixed. Yeah. So but here Sanatana Goswami is saying मद एक बंधु, मेरा एक ही दोस्त है. Okay, now friend है मतलब कोई व्यक्ति होगा, but he's saying no, it is Bhagavatam who is my best friend. अगर मुझे कोई फ्रेंड चुनने में कहे तो किसको चुनोगे? भागवतम को, बाकी सब टाटा बाय बाय. Not like that, because the idea is you can make real friendships, you can make real relationships in real knowledge. अगर real knowledge नहीं है, so what is the basis of friendship? Hmm? I scratch your back, you scratch my back. और TTMM, तू तेरा मैं मेरा, जाते ना कैंटीन खाने को, TTMM करेंगे. हाँ, फ्रेंडशिप है वो ठीक है, लेकिन पैसे में नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज, राइट? So friendship, real friendship is in real knowledge. So where do you get real knowledge from? Bhagavatam. So even if you want to make good friendships, you need Bhagavatam. Therefore, Bhagavatam is the best friend because it will connect you to the best people. मदेक बंधु मत संगी, संगी मतलब यार. संगी is like companion or a lover, right? Agar if you are asked, what is your crush? Who is your crush? सनातन गोस्वामी says भागवतम. ठीक है. और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. So the book के ऊपर crush है आपको. हाँ, that is the best crush. You'll find your lost love, because actually we are all looking for love, right? But we have forgotten that our love, the beloved, is not outside, he's inside. And Srimad Bhagavatam reveals that to us. So Bhagavatam is that Sangi who will reveal to us our real Priyatam, Radha and Krishna, right? Mad Guru, who you are my real teacher, Bhagavatam ko bol raha hai. You are the real teacher, because गुरो न सस्यात्, स्वजनो न सस्यात्, पिता न सस्यात्, जननी न सस्यात्, देव न सस्यात्, न मोचयेत् यः समुपेतु मृत्युम्. ऋषभ देव, we all know of Rishabh Dev, right? We have the quorum is of Jains. Huh? So there are 5 Jains in this room. So Rishabh Dev in his teachings, they are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Did you know? Bhagavatam has 3 chapters dedicated to the teachings and the life of Rishabh Dev. Yeah. So in one of his teachings, he tells to Bharat and all the other sons, he says that Guru na sasyat, teacher mat banna, guru mat banna. Pita na sasyat, पिता मत बनना, माता मत बनना. अच्छा, संबंधी भी मत बनना, रिलेटिव भी मत बनना. अच्छा, मतलब कुछ भी किसी का कोई रिलेशन में होना ही नहीं. नहीं, इफ यू आर नॉट क्वालिफाइड, इफ यू आर नॉट कॉम्पिटेंट टू डिलीवर समवन फ्रॉम डेथ, झूठ मूठ का काहे को रिलेशनशिप बनाते हो? If you can't deliver people from their greatest fear, the fear of death, right? तो झूठ मूठ का 2 दिन का नाटकबाजी का रिलेशनशिप का क्या मतलब है, राइट? अगर if you want to become a father or mother, don't do it just for enjoyment sake. Take responsibility for the child that comes, to deliver that child. You have given them birth, you have given the child birth, right? While giving birth, are you also taking responsibility for death, that the child will not never have to take death, birth again, after death? If not, then ये झूठ मूठ का, है ना, माता पिता भी मत बनो. So this is what Rishabh Dev is teaching, right? So he's saying गुरु मत बनो, माता पिता मत बनो, संबंधी मत बनो, अगर तुम लोगों को जन्म मृत्यु के भय से नहीं बचा सकते हो तो. So therefore, Bhagavatam relieves all fear, and therefore it says Mad Guru, Mad Mahadana, my greatest wealth. So in this way, hmm, Mad Nistaraka, Mad Bhagya, Mera, my good fortune is Bhagavatam. Hmm. So Mad Ananda, my happiness is Bhagavatam. Basically, for him, the universe is Bhagavatam. सोचो क्या होगा इस बुक में कि this person is he is not a layman, he is not a dumb person, he is the prime minister of one of the biggest provinces, and he renounces all of that for one book, that is Bhagavatam. कुछ तो रहेगा ना book में. So what is it? It is said books are man's best friend, but it depends which book you are talking of. देखो book मतलब Karl Marx also wrote books, and influenced by that philosophy communism spread, and the influence of communism has been that more than 3 crore people have been exterminated, killed in Russia, China, in so many other places, in Germany, by communist philosophy. So books are best friend, but depends on which book you are reading, right? The Sigmund Freud philosophy, the books of all of these philosophers, Charles Darwin, Origin of Species. Yes, books do influence, but whether in the positive or negative direction, right? So books can be man's best friend, but then what is the best book? इतना समय तो है नहीं हमारे पास सब बुक पढ़ते बैठेंगे, right? So find the best book and make it your best friend, and take home from here that if you make Bhagavatam your best friend, you will never encounter these 3 dangerous emotions in life. यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसां शोक मोह भयापह. यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां, जब व्यक्ति इस भागवतम को सुनता है, तो क्या होता है? भक्ति उत्पद्यते पुंसां, भगवान के लिए उसके हृदय में भक्ति जागृत होती है, और उससे क्या होता है? शोक मोह और भय. These are the most costly emotions. Shok, lamentation of the past. You know how costly is lamentation?
Just keep you stuck in one place.
Yeah. You are always in the past. You are always lingering in the past. No time for the present, no time for the future. Isn't it? Shok. ऐसा क्यों किया? ऐसा होता तो कितना अच्छा होता, राइट? इंडिया वर्ल्ड कप क्यों हार गया, राइट? वो टीम को कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ा, उनका धंधा चल रहा है, यहाँ पे लोग मायूस में बैठे हैं. मम्मी मैं स्कूल नहीं जाऊंगा, इंडिया हार गया. हाँ, पापा बोल रहे मैं ऑफिस नहीं जाऊंगा, इंडिया हार गया. मम्मी बेलन बोल के देखते. चलो. सो शोक मोह, शोक of the past, moha of the present. Many times we are, in youth, there's so much moha about this is how I look, my selfie, I'll post, right, from different angles. There's moha, moha of the body, moha of our possessions. This is my favorite watch. I'll, show off my car. Moha of the present. It makes you disconnected from the reality. And bhaya of the future. What if this doesn't happen? Right, Vishwanath? Bhaya of results. So जैसे चिंता और चिता में केवल एक बिंदी का फर्क है. और एक और फर्क है, चिता एक बार जलाता है, चिंता आजीवन जलाता है, हर क्षण जलाता है, राइट? सो चिंता क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा, राइट? इट्स अ वेरी कॉस्टली इमोशन.
Arjun actually goes through all of these emotions.
Therefore he had to hear Bhagavad Gita. the Shoka, Moha, and Bhaya are relieved when you make Bhagavatam as your friend, right? So again, another thing, there's a beautiful verse which Srila Jeev Goswami, who is the nephew of Sanatan Goswami. So we heard Sanatan Goswami glorifying Bhagavatam. Jeev Goswami, who is the nephew of Sanatan Goswami, who is one of the greatest scholars India has ever produced, greatest Sanskrit scholars. He has composed original 4 lakh Sanskrit verses. 4 lakh original verses. Nobody in the world has made so many compositions in history. आज तक कोई पैदा नहीं हुआ. Banaras Hindu University has a department for जीव गोस्वामी स्टडीज, जिसमें लोग पीएचडी कर रहे हैं उनकी लिखी हुई एक मतलब बुक के एक सेक्शन के एक वर्स के ऊपर. ठीक है, इतना उनका डेप्थ है. So this is Jeev Goswami and he writes 2 commentaries on Bhagavatam. Sanatan Goswami has written 1 commentary. Jeev Goswami has written 2 commentaries on Bhagavatam. So he says, glorifying Bhagavatam, Vedah Puranam Kavyam Cha Prabhu Mitra Priyevacha Bodhayanti Hi Prabhus Trivrida Bhagavatama Para. This is a very beautiful thing. It says that there are the Vedas, then there are the Puranas, and then there are the Kavyas. In the Vedic fold, there are these 3 types of literatures. The Vedas. The Vedas are kind of instructive. They are speaking in the tone of Prabhu. Prabhu means master, like an employer speaks to an employee. Instructive. Do this or get lost. Right? Instruction manual. They'll just instruct. So the Vedas, they have authority and they are instructing you that you live your life by these principles. This is dharma. You follow it, you will lead to a righteous life. You don't follow it, you are doomed. That's Vedas, instructive. Then Puranas, they are more informal. They are friendly. Puranas, they will also give you good instruction, good guidance, but it's packaged in a friendly dealings, right? So you will find Vedas only giving instructions, but Puranas मतलब 2 हाथ कंधे पे हाथ रख के पता है कि उसके साथ क्या हुआ, किसके साथ, अरे वो था ना, हाँ पुरुरवा, वो लड़की के चक्कर में फंस गया. अच्छा, उर्वशी के चक्कर में फंसा, क्या हुआ पता है उसका? अच्छा हाँ पता पता. So for then he tells the whole history, right? And then what the Vedas may instruct, one should not get into make sense gratification or sex as the goal of one's life, is being told in a very friendly story here in the Puranas, right? And Kavyas are like a lover, an intimate lover telling to the beloved, right? So that's the difference between the Vedas, the Puranas, and the Kavyas. So therefore, there are the Vedas, which are instructive, Puranas, which are informal, friendly, and the Kavyas, which are intimate. Easy to remember. iCube. But Bhagavatam, sometimes it will take the role of instructive. कई बार मतलब उंगली दिखा के सुनाना पड़ता है, तब तक कोई बड़ा नहीं आता है, अपन किसी की बात नहीं सुनते. हाँ मतलब डंडा भी लगाना पड़ता है. Sometimes even if you are chastised, you won't do it unless a friend tells you to do. So therefore Bhagavatam sometimes takes the role of a friend and will instruct you as a Purana. And sometimes Bhagavatam, when it finds that master की भी नहीं चलेगी, friend की भी नहीं चलेगी, it will speak in the tone of a lover, in an indirect, personal private way, right? So therefore Bhagavatam has all of these three tones, mm, and it's very dynamic. So while you're reading Bhagavatam, somehow or the other, it will impress the right message upon us. And that we'll figure out as we are going into the teachings in the story in the past times. Okay, makes sense, Neeraj? Yeah. Vishwanath, any questions at this stage? अरे पूछो ना यार.
I just, it's a little off topic, but I was just reading and I was thinking in the morning that even if people come to God, it is first with the selfish desire to go to heaven, or it is with the selfish desire to be liberated. Like if I want to be liberated, I'm thinking in terms of selfish. कि मुझे दुखना हो, मुझे छूटना, मुझे छूटना. So if we come to religion or come to God with a selfish desire, then isn't that fundamentally wrong?
तालियां. हाँ, बोलो बोलो. अरे बोल दो तालियां.
So basically, the Vedas, they talk about four Purusharthas, the type of religion. So basically, perform religion to get money, to fulfill your desires, and after your desires are not fulfilled, you get dissatisfied, so you seek for moksha.
धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष.
हाँ,
ठीक है. तो तुम रूल्स क्या फॉलो करता है? तुम क्योंकि मतलब तुम जाता है ऑफिस, रूल फॉलो करता है, सुबह 9 बजे जाएगा, शाम को रूल फॉलो करे, 12 घंटा काम करे. क्यों? यू गेट अर्थ. अर्थ क्यों चाहिए तुमको? पैसा क्यों चाहिए? मजा करने के लिए. लेकिन मजा करने से मजा आने की बजाय फ्रस्ट्रेशन होगा. तो भोग लीड्स टू त्याग. छोड़ो यार, कुछ रखा नहीं है, मोक्ष चाहिए मुझे, सब झंझट है. सो अल्टीमेटली आई इज इन द सेंटर. मुझे मजा चाहिए, मुझे मोक्ष चाहिए, राइट? देयरफॉर भागवतम, द सेकंड वर्स ऑफ भागवतम, धर्म प्रोजित कैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सरा नाम सताम वेद्यम वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदम तापत्रयोन्मूलनम. मुझे लगा तुम तो स्मार्ट आदमी हो, सब समझ आता है. सो धर्म प्रोजित कैतव. प्रोजित मतलब किक आउट. मतलब ये बुक ऐसा है ना, यहाँ पे बाउंसर खड़ा किया एंट्रेंस पे, स्टेडियम के एंट्रेंस पे बाउंसर को खड़ा किया. क्या करने के लिए? किक आउट. अगर इसमें से कोई भी घुसा यहाँ पे, कौन घुसा? अगर कोई यहाँ पे आता है जिसको चाहिए यार, काम चाहिए यार, कैन आई, विल आई गेट इन भागवतम हाउ टू फुलफिल माय लस्टी डिजायर्स? पंच, किक, you know, please leave. And I said, how can I make money? Can Bhagavatam teach me? Kick him out. Can I get liberation? Kick him out. Yes, because kaitav means cheating. These are all dharma kaitav dharma means cheating religion. तुम पूछोगे यार रिलीजन भी चीटिंग हो सकता है क्या? Yes, if the person is a cheater, whatever he does is a cheating, right? A doctor, can he be a cheater?
Shouldn't, but he can.
He can be, right? Because it's not about medicine, it's about him, character. So therefore, even person coming to religion, if they don't have the right focus and goal, they can be cheating themselves and cheating others. So therefore, if someone promises you, हाँ कि आ जाओ, मैं तुम्हारा, हाँ, ये सारा जो भी दोष है सब शांति करवा दूंगा, और तुम्हें बहुत जीवन में आनंद, अच्छी वधु, अच्छा वर प्राप्त होगा, और ये सब होगा, और यही सब, दिस इज द गोल ऑफ लाइफ. चीटिंग यू. Yeah, yes, religion when properly practiced will give you side benefits, but that's not the goal. But people consider this as the goal. Even mukti अगर कोई गोल समझ के चल रहा है, still the focus is I should get liberation. Therefore,
That's exactly my question.
हाँ, so therefore Bhagavatam doesn't even entertain मुक्ति कामी. अगर किसी को लिबरेशन चाहिए ना, कि केवल मुझे लिबरेशन चाहिए, भागवतम will purify that desire of liberation to a state where uh, that what is that? मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्ति रहितु की तुई, कि भगवान मुझे वापस जन्म मिले, एक बार, दो बार, तीन बार, 100 बार, कोई टेंशन नहीं, बस आपकी भक्ति नहीं छूटनी चाहिए. तो दैट इज व्हाट paradigm the Bhagavatam is giving us. That that if I am in the situation, if I am in the consciousness of I-centered life, then even if I am in Vaikuntha or heaven, I'll be the same selfish guy, and I will be miserable. I'll make others miserable, right? So I can create hell in Vaikuntha because hellishness is about selfishness. And if I am selfless, I can be in hell but create Vaikuntha in hell. So therefore, Bhagavatam is, purifying one's consciousness. So now let's move ahead. Okay. So now, मद भाग्य भी हमने देखा था इस वर्ष में. मद एक बंधु, friend, मद संगी, lover, मद guru, master. So Bhagavatam instructs sometimes like a friend, sometimes like a lover, sometimes like a master. So we saw that how sometimes we need to listen to the father's chastisement, and then only we'll mend our way. Sometimes we need a friend to tell us some in an informal way, and then we'll understand. Sometimes some intimate lover, right? Bhagavatam speaks in all of those ways. And Mad Bhagya, my fortune. Many people use these days, tarot cards and crystals, कुंडली and so many things. मैं अभी ट्रेन में आ रहा था तो पंडित जी हाथ देखते हो क्या. मैं बोला क्या चाहिए क्या, तो बोले यार शादी नहीं हो रहा है. तो means, so people are worried about their future, that their future should be bright the way they consider brightness to be. But here he's praying that mad bhagya, if I am with Bhagavatam, मेरा भाग्य बन गया. Because भाग्य शब्द मतलब कहां से आया? भग. भग मतलब होता है opulence. The word bhaga means opulence. And there are how many types of opulences? 6. There are 6 types of opulences. Opulences basically Aishwarasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasya, Shriya, Jnana, Vairagya, Shaiva, Shanna, Bhaga, Itingana. So Parashar Muni in Vishnu Puran, he is saying there are these 6 types of opulences. Aishwarya. Aishwarya means wealth. Now, if it's very interesting. Anyone who has these opulences makes them influential. Opulences make you influential. Influential means you can influence people. So, wealth. Is wealth an influencer? Yes, wealth is an opulence. Anyone who is wealthy can move things around. Virya, someone who has clout, strength, power, whether political power or muscle power. They can influence the society. They can influence people. And therefore, people are after influence. They want to become influencers, isn't it? So, Yasha. Yasha means popularity or fame. That's also very influential, and that's what influencers are all about. 2 million followers, 10 million followers. So people want and to have followers and popularity, इसके लिए कुछ भी करते हैं. हाँ, पहाड़ से कूद के दिखाएंगे, मरेंगे तो चलेगा. But somehow I want people to be influenced. So Yasha, Shriya means beauty. Does beauty influence? सारी दुनिया ही चक्कर काट रही है. Beauty is influential. uh, uh, then Yashasha Shriya, Jnana, knowledge is influential. TEDx speaker, very influential, right? Someone who authors, very influential, isn't it? And Vairagya, someone who has these things and renounces them. Someone has wealth and he renounces wealth. Someone has political power or other powers and he renounces them. Or fame, Insta account, 10 million followers, बंद कर दिया अकाउंट, नहीं चाहिए. People were, अरे यार कौन है भाई, इसको तो पक्का फॉलो करना है, right? So these are 6 things which constitute opulence or bhaga. भाग्य मतलब आपके जीवन में ये 6 चीजें आना, उसको कहते हैं भाग्य. समझे आज? भाग्य किसको कहते हैं? हम सब बोलते थे भाग्य भाग्य, मेरा भाग्य बदल जाए. Actually we want these 6 things so that we become influential, right? We don't want to be insignificant, we want to be influential. But the fact is we are insignificant, not influential, right? So, and who is really influential? Krishna, because he has got all of these 6 opulences in full. Bhagavatam connects us to that Krishna. मतलब आपके जीवन में सारा का सारा, the possessor of all wealth, all beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all fame, all renunciation, वो सबका जो प्रोसेसर है उसको लाके आपके गोदी में रख दिया, गोपाल, right? So you have all of that and more. So that's how Bhagavatam creates your bhagya, because it connects us to Krishna. मद भाग्य, because हमारा जो भाग्य है ये लकीरें तो बदलती रहेंगी. आज वेल्थ आया कल जाएगा, आज ब्यूटी आए कल ओल्ड एज आएगा, right? So this kind of bhaga, this kind of opulence is never ours. जो हमारा है ही नहीं वो हमारे साथ टिकेगा ही नहीं. हमारा है क्या? केवल कृष्णा. अगर कृष्णा आ गए तो फिर कोई उनको हमसे छीन नहीं सकता. भागवतम gives you Krishna, and through Krishna gives us everything. Isn't it interesting? And there's a verse in Bhagavatam, idam Bhagavatam nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam उत्तम श्लोक चरितम चकार भगवान ऋषि निश्रेयसाय लोकस्य धन्यम स्वस्ति अयनम महत. जो भागवतम पढ़ता है उसका भाग्य उदय हो जाता है. बेसिकली दिस वर्स इज okay. So let's come to the last verse. So we are doing a commentary on these verses, running commentary. This is the last verse. Interesting so far. हमें एटलीस्ट ये तो समझ में आ गया भाग्य किसको बोलते हैं. असाधु साधुता दाइन अति नीचो चतकरा हाना मुंच कदा चिन्मान प्रेमना हृत्कंठयो स्फुरा. असाधु साधुता दाइन. Every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. But how will a sinner become a saint? Through Bhagavatam. असाधु साधुता दाइन. एक असाधु व्यक्ति को साधु बना सकता है, वो है ये श्रीमद् भागवतम. रत्नाकर became Valmiki Maharshi by the power of Ram, Nam, right? So Bhagavad Nam and Bhagavad Katha have the power to transform one's character from vicious to virtuous. So असाधु साधुता दाइन. अति नीचो, जो बहुत गिरा हुआ है उसको एकदम टॉप पे उठा के लेके जा सकता. Someone who has so fallen, जितना sinful activities है, गिरा हुआ काम है, वो सब करके उससे निकलने का उसके पास कोई चारा नहीं है, फंस गया है. भागवतम उसको फ्रॉम द डेप्थ्स ऑफ सच सिंफुल एंड लाइफ निकाल के उसको एलिवेटेड सेंट बना सकता है. And this is not just some, fekubaji. Hmm? This is fact. And I'll tell you a story. Hmm? Would like a story? Story? Huh? Hmm? So this is a Bhagavatam, this story which is mentioned in the Bhagavad Mahapuran, Bhagavad Mahatmya. There's a Brahmana many hundreds of years back. There's a Brahmana called Atmadev, very pious, sincere person, very learned, but he is having one pain in his life, one grief in his life, that he is sonless. He doesn't have a child. And in today's times, you will find people grieving for, अरे यार मेरे पास BMW नहीं है, मेरे पास iPhone नहीं है. But in those times, it was different. People valued people more than things. Hmm? तो मेरा बच्चा नहीं है, मेरे को कोई बच्चा नहीं है, because then, as we discussed in the last class, that we have 6 debts. Did we discuss? We have. Okay, anyhow, we'll discuss sometime that we have different types of debts, and one of the debts is to our forefathers, पितरीस. क्योंकि ये शरीर जो हमें मिला है, डू वी ओन इट? कहाँ से मिला है? मम्मी पापा से मिला है, पेरेंट्स से मिला है, राइट? सो वी ओ आवर बॉडी विच इज द मीडियम टू डू एनीथिंग. हम कुछ भी कर पा रहे हैं. कैन वी से दिस इज माई अचीवमेंट? नो सर. You may have put some hard work, but the basic machinery, the body, the intelligence has been loaned from your parents, right? Hmm. If they decided to abort us, nothing, right? But they gave us the body, so we owe the body to them, the intelligence to them. Okay, but they also owe their body to someone else, their parents, right? So अगर वो कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो हमारा पूरा जो जीनियोलॉजिकल लीनियज है, we owe to so many people, दादा परदादा पर परदादा. हम्म, तो इसको बोलते हैं पितृ ऋण. So how do I, this is a kind of debt, and how can I pay back that debt? By producing the next generation, right? And not just producing for the sake of producing, but giving spiritual values to the next generation, so that they will perform meritorious spiritual pious activities, which will actually deliver all the ancestors. When you produce a Krishna conscious child, that child performs bhakti, that performs seva, and by that seva and bhakti, the forefathers, they get those credits by which they get delivered. So therefore, Atmadev Brahman was very much grief stricken that I don't have a son. What will happen to my debt, Pitrin? So he was grief stricken, and then one day he was near a well and crying and crying. I don't know what will happen. I'm getting old. And so this one mendicant was passing by, a sannyasi yati was passing by. So the mendicant saw, and a Vaishnav by default is compassionate. So he went up to him and asked, "What is the cause of your grief? Why are you lamenting so much?" "Oh, what should I tell you? How will you be able to, solve my problem?" So the mendicant was having some mystic potencies and powers. So he closed his eyes and he asked, "So are you so sad because you don't have a son?" "Oh, yes, yes. How did you find out? It seems you are a mystic." So the mendicant again closed his eyes and he said, "Don't fight too hard against your destiny. You are not destined to have a son. Not only in this lifetime, for next 7 lifetimes, you will never have a son." So hearing this, he started crying even more piteously. But then he thought, if this sannyasi can know that if he has the potency to know I will not have a son in this life and next 7 lifetime, he also has the potency to give me a son. हम्म? मतलब ऐसा बता सकता है तो कुछ कर भी सकता है. तो ये और जोर से रोने लग गया और जाके I'll commit, I'll jump into this well, I'll commit suicide, मैं मरने जा रहा हूँ, मुझे कोई नहीं बचा सकता है, ऐसा करके थोड़ा फिल्मी सीन क्रिएट कर दिया. And this mendicant said, what happened? So then the mendicant said, wait, what happened? So he said, because you are not giving me a son, I am committing suicide. So Nancy said, okay. You want a son, that's it. Okay, I am telling you, even if you may have a son, it will give you more pain than pleasure. कुछ भी हो मुझे बेटा चाहिए. So the sannyasi took out a fruit and gave it to this person and said, you give this fruit to your wife and she will give birth to a child after some time. And so this will solve your grief. So the Atmadev Brahman, he was very happy, went to his wife, whose name was Dhundhuli. जो धुंधली के पास गया और उसको बताया कि पता है क्या आज क्या हुआ. सन्यासी को मिला, उन्होंने मुझे फल दिया है और अभी हमारा मेरी सारी इच्छाएं पूरी हो जाएंगी और हमें पुत्र का उत्पत्ति होगा. So now धुंधली was a typical 21st century modern kind of a lady, hmm, who had more concern about her figure than giving birth to a child. So she thought, अरे अभी तक बच्चा नहीं था, ठीक था, अभी पता नहीं कहाँ से सन्यासी से फल ले आए हैं, ये फल को खाऊंगी मैं प्रेग्नेंट हो जाऊंगी, है ना, फिर मेरा फिगर बिगड़ जाएगा तो हम्म तो मैं पार्टियों में कैसे जाऊंगी. एंड एंड देन बच्चा होने के ऊपर तो बहुत पेट दर्द होता है ना वो, और फिर क्या क्या परहेज ही रखने पड़ते हैं. और दिन मान लो अगर चोर आ गए रात में, सारा गांव तो भाग जाएगा, मैं ये गर्भ को लेके कहाँ भागूंगी. हम्म, ना ना, ये तो बड़ी टेंशन वाली बात है. और फिर जब बच्चा पैदा होता है तो वो टट्टी पेशाब कुछ तो करता रहता है, उसको कौन साफ करते बैठेगा. हम्म हम लोग सब ऐसे ही बड़े हुए हैं. हम्म, और फिर उसको खिलाओ पिलाओ एंड देन यू बिकम टाइड अप विद द सन. अभी बच्चा है, किधर घूमने घामने भी नहीं जा सकते. हम्म, किधर भी जाओगे तो बच्चा रोने लग जाता है, राइट. सो इट्स having a child is a big not such people won't call it a responsibility, burden. It's a big burden, right? So she thought, to hell with the child, मेरे को नहीं बनना है. और फिर वो उदास थी तो उसकी बहन धुंधुली की जो बहन थी, शी वॉज ऑल्सो क्रिकेट लाइक हर. सो शी सेड, क्यों बहना क्यों उदास दिख रही है. तो बोली कि अरे अभी ये पता नहीं कहाँ से फल ले आए, वो इस्कॉन के किसी बाबा जी ने दे दिया लगता है. सो आई डोंट वांट टू बिकम मदर. सो शी सेड, अच्छा हाँ ठीक है, तेरी बात तो ठीक है. तो बोले लेकिन मैं प्रेग्नेंट हूँ, पता है तुझे, मैं पेट से हूँ, तो मेरे को बच्चा हो जाएगा कुछ महीने में, तो एक्सचेंज करते हैं ना. तो ये काम करे, जो फल दिया है ना, ये फल गाय को खिला दे, मेरा बच्चा होगा, मैं तेरे को बच्चा दे दूंगी और बोलूंगी मेरे को मिसकैरेज हो गया था, सो विदाउट प्रेगनेंसी यू विल गेट अ चाइल्ड एंड ही विल नॉट कम टू नो एनीथिंग. एंड गाय को बच्चा हुआ तो हुआ, अपने को क्या टेंशन. सो ऐसा ही प्लान को एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं, गाय को खिला देते हैं और एंड देन द सिस्टर सेल्स, बट देयर इज अ कैच, you have to also show that you are pregnant. So she says, every week, you increase, you put some cloths at your tummy and increase the layers. And never go close to your husband. Show as if you are very shy and want to stay away so that he doesn't figure out. है ना. So she does it like that, and then this Dhunduli sister, she gives birth to a child and she gives it to Dhunduli. And Dhunduli shows to Atmadev, and Atmadev is very happy, the happiest man on earth कि मुझे बच्चा मिल गया है, पैदा हो गया है. and at the same time the cow also gives birth to a child, a human child. हाँ, ह्यूमन चाइल्ड जिसके गाय के जैसे कान है, मतलब everything about a child is human except the ears. The ears are of cow, and therefore he is given the name गोकर्ण, जिसके गाय के जैसे कान हैं, गोकर्ण. सुना है ये स्टोरी किसी ने पहले? हाँ हाँ, बीटी जी.
Yes.
उसमें हो गया. सो गोकर्ण उसका नाम दिया, एंड धुंधुकारी, धुंधुली के बेटे का नाम दिया धुंधुकारी. ठीक है. सो नाउ पीपल केम कॉन्ग्रेचुलेटिंग कि देखो, जब ऊपर वाला देता है छप्पड़ फाड़ के देता है. पहले इनको एक भी बच्चा नहीं था, अभी बच्चे हुए तो इनके घर में गाय भी बच्चा दे रही है. हाँ, सब बधाइयां, और ये बहुत खुश हो गया है ब्राह्मण एकदम. बढ़िया, अभी बच्चे बड़े होते हैं तो दोनों बच्चे अपना रंग दिखाते हैं. जो गोकर्ण है, ही इज वेरी सिंसियर, सिंपल हार्टेड, loving, caring, compassionate, humble, honest. But Dhundukari is the most crooked, cruel cheater. He's always thinking of how to, give pain to others. And he's always after wine and women. So much so that he beats up his father for money. And the father dies, Atmadev, in utter uh, a kind of grief, seeing the atrocities of his son, right? And his mother, he is beating up his mother, Dhundhuli, for money, because to maintain prostitutes, to maintain his, drinking habits, he needs money, and he doesn't want to do hard work. So, and he gets all the money from them, and then he beats her, and the mother goes and jumps into a well and dies. This is the end of Atmadev and Dhunduli. And now this person at his home, he has kept 5 prostitutes to fulfill his carnal desires. And now to satisfy these prostitutes, he needs a lot of money. क्योंकि अभी उसको खुद को पीना नहीं है, इनको भी पिलाना है, खिलाना है, सब ज्वेलरी लाना है. So he by stealing, by killing, all of these means he is stealing wealth and getting wealth. And these prostitutes are saying that he has become an expert thief, dacoit. But the spies and the king's soldiers must be, on the chase for him. Anytime he may get caught. We still have a lot of wealth, but if he gets caught, all the wealth will be caught, and we 5 will also be caught. So it's the right time now. Let's kill him off, take this wealth, and flee away. So they make the plan in the night, intoxicate him, and satisfy him. And in that intoxicated state, they start pounding him, and beating him with sticks, and then with knives. And then he's still not dying, so they take burning coal and push it in his mouth. And through that, this kind of a ghastly way, they kill him and then bury his body in the courtyard, take all the wealth, and flee away. Now, do you remember about Gokarna? Gokarna had gone for a pilgrimage, and when he returns, he comes to know from the villagers that the prostitutes are gone, brother is missing, something is amiss. And he comes and takes rest, and he's haunted by a ghost. कोई घोस्ट आके कभी हाथी के रूप में आ रहा है, कभी भेड़ के रूप में आ रहा है, कभी विंड के रूप में आ रहा है. ही इज trying to haunt गोकर्ण. So गोकर्ण is unable to figure out क्या हो रहा है. Then he realizes कि मेरे भाई का घोस्ट है, because the ghost reveals कि मैं धुंधुकारी हूँ, right? Save me. So गोकर्ण, now he says अभी तर्पण करना पड़ेगा. So he goes to गया to do तर्पण. श्राद्ध करते हैं ना, श्राद्ध करके वापस आता है, फिर वही घोस्ट हॉन्ट कर रहा है. बोले इससे तो मेरे नाखून का भी तर्पण नहीं होगा, मैंने इतना पाप किए. So then this Gokarna, he performs different kinds of worships, puja, yagya, sab karta hai, but the ghost is not getting delivered. So then finally Gokarna approaches sun god and does a lot of worship to sun god, and sun god appears and tells him, recite Srimad Bhagavatam. By recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the only way by which such a sinful person who has murdered so many people, who has raped women, this person can be delivered. So then Gokarna sits and he makes a vow for the next 7 days. He is going to continuously recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And entire village comes to know Gokarna is going to recite. सारा गांव आ जाता है क्योंकि गांव वालों को भी ये घोस्ट हॉन्ट करता है. और this ghost of Dhundukari, it's a knowledge known thing that ghosts can not sit in one place, but they can sit in a bamboo staff. Bamboo stick जो होता है उसमें वो बैठ सकता है. तो वहां पे एक बैम्बू पोल रखते हैं और उसमें आके धुंधुकारी भी बैठ जाता है. And Gokarna is reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and each day at the end of the katha, one knot of that bamboo breaks off. There are 7 knots. First knot breaks off, blast, and they realize that 1/7 of his sins are gone. Second day, second knot. Third day, third knot. Thak, 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 thak. 7 दिन में, and a big blast, and Dhundukari is delivered. At the same time, the Vaikuntha Viman comes, and Dhundukari, taking the Chaturbhuji Roop, goes back to Vaikuntha in front of everyone. Someone who has done so many sinful activities, just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, sitting and hearing, a ghost gets the opportunity to go to Vaikuntha, right? So that is a sadhu, sadhuta daini. However sinful one may be, one can become the most pure personality by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So we all have our quota of impurity and impiety, but by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we can get purified. By the way, आप पूछेंगे कि अरे वो गांव वाले भी आए थे ना भागवतम सुनने, ये घोस्ट ही गया, बाकी सब नहीं गए. तो उसमें बताते हैं कि एक्चुअली the villagers had this question, अरे if the ghost could get delivered, why didn't we get delivered? So then Gokarna said, you know what? Dhundukari was listening with complete surrender. He was listening because he was on the edge. There was nothing, no other shelter that he had, right? If he will continue like a ghost for so many thousands of years. So therefore he took complete shelter of the Bhagavatam. लेकिन तुम लोग, तुम्हारे पास घर है, पैसा है, सब है, तो हाँ चलो एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए सुनते हैं. यू आर नॉट अटेंटिव एंड एब्जॉर्ब. सो द विलेजर सेड, एक बार फिर से करो 7 दिन का अनुष्ठान, इस बार हम ढंग से सुनेंगे. So the next time all the villagers were very wrapped in attention and took shelter of the Bhagavatam. And when the entire katha was over, hundreds of Vaikuntha Vimans came, and all these villagers, they went back to the spiritual world, got liberation, right? So that is the power of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. हाँ, गोकर्ण ही तो लेके गया सबको. By the way, as I told you, कि मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे, a devotee is not bothered about going to the spiritual world. Wherever he is, he creates spiritual world by their devotion, right? So of course he also went to the spiritual world.
Why didn't Gokarna try to save his parents? तो वो मार रहा था तो वो क्या कर रहा था?
नहीं, he had gone to pilgrimage ना. So so this is what we have had to discuss today. Any questions? reflections, कैसा लगा ये story?
I have a question. Gokarna went to pilgrimage for himself and he left his parents in evil life. Isn't it sort of his responsibility that his parents suffered?
ठीक है तो
Like, that's my question. The first time I asked you.
मैं भेजता हूँ तुमको गोकर्ण के पास.
No, I'm just simply reflecting on the same.
See, देखो you this is called unnecessary speculation. Did you like मैं तुमको एक स्टोरी बताया, तुम्हें इससे पहले स्टोरी के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं था, राइट? ना वो स्टोरी में जो डॉट्स है उससे लेके तुमने कुछ इमेजिन अपना कर लिया कि अरे वो क्यों गया. सी दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, दैट जितना स्टोरी जहाँ पे तुमको कंक्लूजन क्या है वो समझो. वो उसने ऐसा क्या किया, डोंट डू बैक ट्रेसिंग एंड विच इज नॉट गोइंग टू लीड यू एनीवेयर. वेयर इज दिस स्टोरी लीडिंग? मतलब मैं तुमको स्टोरी सुनाया, पद्म पुराण ने हमको स्टोरी सुनाया, किस लिए सुनाया, पर्पस क्या था? To tell us the glories what Bhagavatam can do to you, right? उसको छोड़ के तुम किसी और दिशा में लेके जाओगे, so then basically you गाड़ी आगे जाना है, तुम रिवर्स गियर में डाल दो, right? So question should take you forward, right? The story is told for a purpose, so try to get that purpose in your mind. That what is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam, that even you are so sinful, it can deliver you. अभी तुमको हाफ इंफॉर्मेशन है, उसको तुम इंटरपोलेट एक्सट्रापोलेट करके कुछ भी करेगा ना, मतलब ही नहीं है. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is glorious, and Srimad Bhagavatam is like the joint family photograph of Krishna. Did I tell you that? So Krishna with all of his devotees in different rasas, in Dasya ras, in Sakya ras, in Madhurya ras, all devotees and all different rasas. You have, 5-year-old Prahlad, 5-year-old Dhruva. जब फैमिली का जॉइंट फोटो होता है तो बच्चे सबसे आगे आके बैठ जाते हैं, गोदी में बैठ जाते हैं. तो यू हैव प्रहलाद सिटिंग ऑन द लैप ऑफ नरसिंह देव. So you have Prahlad and Nrsimha Dev. Then you have Sri Rama and Subal putting their hands on Krishna's shoulder, and Krishna is weighing down by, right. So they are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then you have Krishna surrounded by the Pandavas, Draupadi, Kunti, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadev, Yudhishthir. So Bhagavatam will give you the group family photo of Krishna. This is the entire family. And you and me have opportunity to not just take the photo. देखा ना कि फोटो खींचता है कोई, फिर बोलते हैं अरे तू भी जा. फिर तुम जाके बैठते हो और कोई दूसरा तुम्हारा फोटो में. So actually we have opportunity to become part of that family photograph. So that will be unlocked. And the next session, what I'm thinking of doing is taking up the chapters of Gita and explaining them through the sections of Bhagavatam. तो गीता में 18 चैप्टर्स है और हर चैप्टर में कुछ मेन कॉन्सेप्ट है, तो उसमें से एक या दो मेन थीम को लेंगे और उसके ऊपर भागवतम का एक स्टोरी बताएंगे. तो जैसे फर्स्ट चैप्टर इज अबाउट अटैचमेंट, राइट. Dhritarashtra has attachment towards Duryodhana, and that has caused all the havoc. But Arjuna also has attachment for Bhishma, Drona, and other family members. So this attachment is definitely a reality. How to deal with it? So we will take up third canto, second to fifth chapter, the story of Daksha, Shiva, and Sati, which also talks about attachment. Sati has attachment for Daksha and her relatives and families, right? So we'll try to see the parallels. and try to learn some lessons. Yes, Vishwanath Prabhu. Thank you. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.